Jason Momoa just said the words no one expected to hear. Not from the man who called Lisa Bonet his queen. Not from the actor who once said he'd waited his whole life for her. And definitely not from the Hollywood couple we thought would last forever. But now the silence is broken. And what Jason just revealed, it wasn't a scandal. It wasn't a betrayal. It was something more devastating. Because after 16 years of sacred love, blended family dinners, and red carpets full of quiet fire, Jason finally admitted the truth. I knew it was over, and it all came down to one moment. Just one. One moment that shattered the illusion. One moment that made everything feel final. One moment that even he couldn't ignore. So what was it? Was it something she said? Was it the way she looked at him? Or was it the silence between them that finally spoke louder than love? This isn't a story about a breakup. It's about that quiet second when everything you believed slips away. And for Jason Momoa, that second rewrote everything. Before the headlines, before the divorce, before the silence, there was a love story that felt sacred. Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet weren't just any Hollywood couple. They were the Hollywood couple. The soulful pair who made red carpets feel like altars, who made fans believe that love could last, even in an industry where marriages collapse like movie sets. For years, they seemed untouchable. Jason spoke about Lisa like she was mythic. In interviews, he'd beam. "She's my queen," he once said. "She's the one." And people believed him. How could they not? His eyes lit up when he said her name. His body language softened around her. It was devotion, raw, real, visible. And for Lisa, who had long been the embodiment of cool, ethereal elegance, Jason brought a spark of grounded joy. They balanced each other, fire and earth, chaos and calm. They didn't flaunt their love. They didn't play into tabloids or orchestrate photo ops. They protected their relationship like a sacred ritual. No drama, no spectacle, just shared glances, quiet smiles, and years of togetherness. They raised a blended family, stood by each other through fame's rise and retreat, and always kept one foot out of the Hollywood machine. It was that balance, the sacred and the simple, that made people root for them. When they finally married in 2017, after over a decade together, it didn't feel like a climax. It felt like a continuation. They were already soul-tied. The ceremony was just the formal echo of a bond everyone thought was unshakable. So when the divorce announcement came in early 2022, it didn't just break headlines. It broke hearts. Not because people can't accept that relationships end, but because this one wasn't supposed to. This one made people believe. If Jason and Lisa could fall apart, who was safe? But what the world didn't see, what Jason never shared until now, was that the ending didn't come suddenly. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It was slow, quiet, and eventually undeniable. "I knew it was over," Jason said, "and it all came down to one moment. But to understand that moment, we have to understand what was happening beneath the surface. Because even soulmates can drift." While the world saw harmony, the truth behind closed doors was more complicated. Jason's career had skyrocketed. From Game of Thrones to Aquaman, he became a global icon. Suddenly, he was on sets in faraway countries for months at a time. Press tours, brand deals, studio demands. The kind of fame that consumes everything in its path. And Lisa, she was pulling away from the spotlight. She'd spent decades in the industry. Her spirit was quieter now, more grounded. She wanted peace, roots, stillness. She wasn't chasing premieres. She was chasing presence. Two paths, both valid, but slowly splitting. Sources close to the couple began to murmur about the distance, emotional and physical. Jason loved the road, the adventure, the grind. Lisa loved the hearth, the calm, the ritual. They were becoming two different elements moving at different speeds. Jason, ever the free spirit, tried to balance both. He spoke often about being a family man, about returning home. But home began to feel more like a stopover than a sanctuary. Lisa, for her part, began dropping hints. In an interview not long before their split, she spoke about letting go of things that no longer serve the soul. It sounded poetic, maybe even spiritual. But fans who read between the lines knew it meant more. They weren't fighting. That wasn't the issue. It was the absence of fight. There were no arguments to salvage. No dramatic scenes. Just emotional drift. And according to people close to them, the silence became louder than any screaming match ever could. They were sharing space, but not sharing the same rhythm. And slowly, quietly, the connection dulled. The sacredness they once held so tightly began to loosen. And then, one day, Jason experienced something, one specific moment, where the truth became impossible to unsee. It wasn't